There's a hidden cost we don't talk about enough, and most people are paying it without even knowing. It's called ignorance debt, and it's what you owe tomorrow for what you refuse to learn today. But here's the good news. You can cancel it. In fact, you can cancel it right now. Look, we've all done it. We put off learning the thing that we know we should understand. We delay our action. We ignore the warning signs. And then later, when the challenge inevitably returns, we realize we're stuck in the same cycle again. Let's be honest. We all know what it's like to ignore that nudge. You feel stuck, but instead of learning something new or asking for help, you push it aside and you say, I'll deal with it later. And before you know it, later shows up. The problem hasn't gone away. In fact, it's gotten worse. And that's how ignorance debt works. The longer we delay the learning, the more expensive the lesson becomes. I want you to think about that for a moment, because as you're watching this video today, you're possibly in that same situation. There are things that you should have learned before today, but you're still searching. You're still trying to get unstuck. You're still trying to achieve some kind of measurable personal growth. And that's why I want to pause for a moment and encourage you. You've clicked on the right video. You've clicked on the right channel. I'm going to help you to grow. I can help you to get unstuck. I've got so much proof of helping others to do it, and I can help you. So make sure you watch all the way through this video as you learn more about what it takes to get that growth happening. You see, when we delay the learning and we pay the expensive price of that lesson showing up again, it shows up in all areas of our life. It shows up in our finances, in our health, in our relationships, in our vocation or our business. And it's basically anywhere that we keep on saying, I'll figure it out eventually. But eventually always costs more. Here's the shift that we need to make, and it's a simple shift. When life asks you to grow, say yes. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, basically, when we have that uncomfortable, sometimes unpleasant feeling of I'm back here again, I should have done something about this last time, that's life asking you to grow. And if we can get into the habit of saying yes now, we will do so much better. You see, it's not something we say yes to later. It's not something we say yes to when it feels convenient. It's something we say yes to right now. Because every challenge, although uncomfortable and maybe even a little bit painful, every challenge is a signal. It's a moment that says, hey, there's something here that you need to learn. And if you lean in, you level up. But if you lean back, you stay stuck. I'm going to say that again because I think that can help get the right pictures in your mind. If you lean in, you will level up. But if you lean back, you stay stuck. And then the cost just keeps accumulating. Now, here's the part that most people miss. You don't always have to learn it all by yourself. Remember what we talked about in a previous episode called Who, Not How? The idea of asking who has solved this instead of asking how do I solve this. Let's remember, asking the question who has already walked this road before me, that's not weakness, that's wisdom. And the truth is, smart people buy time by borrowing experience. I'm going to say that one more time because that one statement can help to unlock you and get you moving. Smart people buy time by borrowing experience. So, the question is, what can you actually do today about your ignorance debt? Well, I'm going to give you 3 practical, actionable steps that you can start immediately so that you can start cutting down that debt and get to the place where you're learning what you need to learn, because the whole goal of why we're sitting here together talking about this topic is to get you unstuck, get you growing, get you upgraded. We want to see you have the transformation that you so desperately long for. So let's get into a few of these practical steps of what you can do about that legacy ignorance debt. Number one is we need to identify the gap. What areas of your life are you lacking learning? Generally speaking, it's going to be in one of the big areas of life, as I like to talk about: relationships, mental health, finances, vocation, parenting. Somewhere in those big, high priority areas of our life, that's usually where the gap is found. And we can ask ourselves the question, where in my life do I keep on hitting the same wall? That's a hint for you. Where do I feel resistance or confusion? Once you answer that question, that's the place where you're probably avoiding growth and accumulating ignorance debt. Where in my life do I keep hitting the same wall? Where do I keep on feeling the same kind of resistance? Answering those questions will help you to identify where the gap is for you. Step number 2, I've covered this before on the channel. I will probably cover it many more times. Step number 2 is that we need to find our who. Find our who. In other words, who has already mastered this area that I've got a gap in? Who do I know or know of that can save me years of trial and error? As I talk about all the time, the question of how is not wrong. It's just usually slower and it doesn't benefit you with as many useful lessons. The better question by far, or the better question to ask first, is the question of who, because it fast tracks your learning and it broadens your learning so that you have a far more successful pathway. If this episode today is helping you and giving you pictures in your mind and giving you hope in your heart that things can improve for you, it's probably because you're experiencing real life, practical, proven help. And on that front, I want to encourage you to take the next step with me. Maybe you didn't know, I write a regular newsletter called Everyday Mentor with Andrew Gray, where I write articles like this subject we're dealing with today, where I help you to experience growth and achieve the transformation that you're longing for. There's a link in the description down below so that you can subscribe to that newsletter. Or maybe you're that person who's so ready to be helped, you're literally climbing through the screen saying, please hold my hand, help me, show me what to do. Well, if that's you, I've thought of you already. I've written and produced a very comprehensive course for you that is totally focused on getting you unstuck, getting you growing, and getting you upgraded, where I cover some incredibly transformative modules that I don't just hope will help you, I don't just think they will help you, I know and I guarantee they will help you. Why can I be so confident? Because I've done this process for thousands of other people before over the past 28 years. So if you're ready right now to be helped, click on that link in the description and you can get engaged with that course and work directly with me. Now, when we're talking about who to get help from, look, it could be a mentor, it could be a coach, it could be a trusted friend, or it could even be a book or a podcast as a small step to get you moving. It doesn't really matter where you start, just get started so that you can actually get some traction and momentum, which brings us to our third step in what to do about your ignorance debt, and that is take what we call a micro move. Take a micro move. In other words, find the smallest, simplest baby step of action that you can take as a result of watching this episode today, as a result of being sick and tired of getting back to the same place where you kick yourself and say, I'm tired of going around this same mountain. The way to break that circuit is to take some action and take a micro move. You see, you don't need to overhaul your entire life in one day. Just take one action that moves you forward in your learning journey just a little bit further. Maybe you need to book that session of help you've been talking about, start that course, ask that question. Tiny steps have got the power to cancel big ignorance debts. Guys, in closing in this session today, here's what I really want you to hear. You're not stuck because you're not smart. You're stuck because there's something new that you need to learn. And when you learn it, things will move. You see, the longer you wait, the heavier it gets. The longer you wait, the higher price you'll have to pay. So, why don't you choose to pay the price now instead of paying the penalty later? And remember, the courage to learn today is what creates momentum tomorrow. That's how you cancel ignorance debt. And I really want to encourage you, there's not other people who have got so much advantage over you and you can't do it. You actually can do it. You just need the right kind of help from the right kind of person. You really can get unstuck, get growing, and get upgraded. And that's what I'm here to do. So I'd love to see you in another episode real soon on the Everyday Mentor with Andrew Gray. I'll see you then.